What's up? What's up? YouTube is enabled. Get my Facebook going. Let me add in something here. So guys, I'm just setting up my links here in my YouTube post before I click that live. Way too many links. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. All right, guys. Facebook is running live. YouTube is running live. Thanks to the new subscribers. Bear with me as I get everything set up here. You guys know the drill. I don't come on here with a pre-written script and all that nonsense. I come on here to give you guys the real deal. No pre-written scripts. No even real idea of what I'm talking about before I jump on. I just come on with a specific topic and that's it. I just start talking. So anyway, today guys, I've been running the Antminer A3. As you guys seen in my previous videos, I've been running the Antminer A3. I got it all set up. My power supply is running. I got the machine powered up. I've been mining Siacoin for now 24 hours, and I have certainly run into a fair share of problems over the course of the last 24 hours. Put it to you this way, guys. I've run into enough problems where I was afraid to go to sleep last night, all right? Something I really noticed about this particular miner from Bitmain is they did not incorporate the automatic shutdown for overheat protection. So basically, if you're not on top of this freaking miner, it will just keep running until it lights on fire and burns your house down. So keep that in mind if you plan on buying a miner, is that they can and they will, if you are not on top of it, they will burn your house down. So I got actually lucky last night that my machine only made it to 96 degrees Celsius and I was able to get up there and shut off the power to my miners. Now, had I have waited another 10 minutes, one, my miner would have been 100% fried instead of only like 1% fried. There is damage. And second, I probably would have had to have called the fire department. So keep that stuff in mind, guys. I do not recommend anybody to buy one of these miners if you are not prepared for the work and the stress and the technological exercise, if you want me to call it that. So guys, basically I was gonna give you guys my review here. I'm gonna flip over to my screen share. We're gonna look at my Antminer stats, look at how much money I've made. We'll look at my temperatures, which are now more or less under control. And I turned my overclock back on as well once I had my temperatures under control. I'm in my living room, of course, and my camera's attached here, so I cannot take you and show you around my mining room right now. But I did add in a fan in the window to pull some cool air in. And then I have a crosswind, and I have an exhaust on the other end of my loft to pull the hot air out. So I have an inlet and an outlet. It's Canada here, and it's cold outside. Well, I'm actually, today's a warm day, be honest. It was like 5 degrees Celsius outside today for the end of January. It's pretty warm, but even at 5 degrees Celsius, that's great for cooling my room. Shit, we've had we've had temperatures right down to negative 30 Celsius within the last month. So our temperatures are just off the wall right now. And so I've had a few ideas here as far as coming up with ideas to control my temperature, to control my noise, because at nighttime I go stand out in my backyard and all I can hear is, and it just keeps going. And I would assume that my neighbors, I mean, if they were outside, they would have a problem with it. Now, thank God, because it is wintertime, they probably don't have their windows open. But if they did, they would say, "Hey, Jesse, your machine is driving me nuts. Shut it down." And so anyway, I talked to my neighbor today, and I just told him what was going on, and I said, yeah, I'm working on my idea here for a sound buffer. So I'm going to end up building a sound buffer for my window. That way there I can, not only can I have an inlet and an outlet for my airflow out the window, I will also have a sound buffer in between so that you don't get any of that humming or the sound from my fans leaking out of the house. So I got a lot of ideas underway here right now. Yeah, I just want to show you guys my stats for what I have done so far. So let me go ahead here and switch over to my screen share. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, boom, boom. Okay. So basically, guys, over here is the window. That's not this one. This is the window you guys seen before, and I got my temperatures down. Okay. Well, you notice a few things on the screen. Okay. So last night I had a problem with temperature where my mining room heated up to about 26 degrees Celsius. Okay. I did put a thermometer up in my room so I can monitor my temperatures. So my room heated up to about 26 degrees Celsius, and that was way too hot for the Antminer A3, and it overheated. So I had a temperature here on my temps. Last night I recorded 96 degrees on chain number 3. So there's 3 boards inside the Antminer, and chain number 3 happens to be the hottest board because it's one. Well, chain 2 is the center board. You got 1, 2, 3. So chain 3 is one of the outside boards, and specifically all the chips and heat sinks are stuck out to the exterior side where it does not get proper airflow. They should have seriously installed that card in reverse, and then the whole thing would have worked flawlessly. But they seriously screwed up in the manufacturing of this device, and they should have put that board in reverse. That way there, the airflow would have been on the proper side of the card in order to get airflow across the heat sinks and take the heat away from the board. So there is a minor design flaw with the Antminer A3, and it has to do, and it seriously impacts the heat. Now, right now, I've dropped my mining room temperature down to about 16 degrees Celsius. Okay, and I did that simply by, well, one, I'm in Canada, so I opened the window because it's winter time here and it's cold outside. And I put a fan in the window blowing air inward. Now, generally, what you want to do with a miner, which I'm also doing, but generally what you want to do with a miner, you should not necessarily be worrying about bringing cold air in. What you should be worrying about is getting your hot air out. Okay, now I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone because I'm in a loft. Okay, so at one end of my loft I have a window, at the other end of my loft I have a window. Okay, and so I've created a crosswind. So one window is just wide open. Okay, and there's nothing in it, and my window in my mining room is wide open and it's blowing cold air in, which creates a positive pressure in my mining room, and then it blows out the mining room, and all my hot air is blowing straight out the other end of my loft. Okay, so I am getting rid of my hot air and I am bringing in cold air, and for me right now that is the only thing that is saving me from having temperatures back into the 80s and 90s like I showed you guys yesterday. So like I said, yesterday I had a temperature of 96 degrees on chain number 3, so board number 3, and I seen that, and I ran up to my mining room and I turned off the power right then and there. And then, guys, I spent over an hour just trying to get the miner to turn back on. I seriously thought I wasted $3,000 on this miner, and I fried it. Well, it turns out I only fried a couple of chips. I do have damage, guys. You see these hardware errors? Hardware errors, I got 900s, thousands, 3,000 and some odd total hardware errors. Watch, refresh again. Okay, 3,400 errors, okay? Now, generally errors are to do with overclocking, which I'm overclocked by about 9% right now. And I've played with underclocking and overclocking to try to get my hardware errors down. I can't fix it. Guys, I do have damage. From my overheating last night, I have damaged my miner. Now it's still running. So board number 1 and board number 2 are working. You can see I'm reading 60 ASICs. ASICs are individual chips on the board, application specific integrated circuit, which refers to the actual processor on the circuit board that processes the algorithm for your mining. Okay, so there are 60 ASICs
physically on each board, and boards number 1 and number 2 are reading properly, and board number 3 reads between 56 and 59 ASICs now. Yesterday, before I overheated my machine, it was working flawlessly, and I had way less hardware errors. Now guys, I underclocked my machine by about 25%, and I only had a marginal decrease in the amount of hardware errors. So I've opted to go back to overclocking with now some better cooling up there in my room, and just kind of deal with the hardware errors, knowing that I'm getting a higher hash rate. The machine's rated for 815 gigahashes, and I mean, I'm refreshing again. I got 898 gigahashes right now, and I'll show you what that equals to in dollar values and coin values in a couple of seconds here. But I am overclocked. The base clock is 600 megahertz, and I am clocked right now at 650 megahertz. So I did go back to overclocking like I was doing yesterday. That caused my overheating, kind of. And here we are, but I have way better temperatures. No more 90s, guys. Now I got this under control. So when you read about this miner, they say that its operating temperature is between 0 and 40 degrees Celsius. Well, I call their bluff on operating it at 40 degrees Celsius, because at 26 degrees Celsius, it was ready to light on fire. Okay, so cooling, guys, #1 beef with running ASIC hardware, or probably any hardware. Heat, guys, if you're going to do this, you got to be on top of your heat. Heat is a major issue. So now, because now I got heat, I've had to open windows. Now I have noise problems. Okay, I mean, outside, if I step outside of my house right now, it's loud outside. Like, it's not as loud as standing in my mining room, but it's loud enough that if you're my neighbor outside trying to have a conversation, you know, and you're listening off in the distance, like 50 feet away, and you can hear this thing, it's not just loud, but it's a nuisance. Okay, so I really got to work on my noise next. So I'm going to build a baffle box to go on my window, and I'll fasten that to my window, and then fasten all my exhaust and everything to the baffle box. So I have a plan for that. Something I noticed, guys, every time I restart my miner, I have a different temperature, okay? So like, I could restart it right now, and then I'll be running 80 degrees for some strange reason, okay? And then I'll restart it again, I'll be running 50 degrees. Okay, and now, I mean, I've been running for a bit. I got my hash rate up and running for half an hour, and I'm still running under 70. But I'll restart, and, you know, I fluctuate between 65 and like 78 degrees every time I restart the miner. Okay, so anyway, because I was scared, I went ahead and I paid for this software, okay? And I have it, I've been just kind of testing this. I just got this software like maybe an hour ago. I paid $85 US or $105 Canadian for this software in order to manage. I can manage up to 20 miners with the license that I purchased, but I bought it specifically so that I could monitor my A3 and also be able to program in certain functions, such as when it gets too fucking hot, shut off. Pretty simple, right? I don't know why Bitmain didn't include this in their actual software on the device. Just like, why can't I just put a number in, say if it goes above 80 degrees Celsius, turn off? They did not put that in this miner. Now on the S7s, S9s, the D3s, all of those apparently come with an auto shutdown feature when they get too hot. And here I am with an Antminer A3, and it does not have this feature. So anyway, I spent $85 US on this particular software. And when I right click on my miner, of course I had to do some configuration to get my miner to read in the software, and then also get API access with privileged access so that I could actually perform functions. But now I have, again, I'm just testing right now, but I can go into edit profit profile for my miner. And if I go into rules, I have a bunch of things in here where it'll give me notifications if it's too hot, if it's dead. If it goes offline, I'll get messages, okay? The one I'm interested in is overheat protection. And I can edit this and I can create new ones. Right now I have it set, if the temperature goes greater than 70 degrees Celsius, okay, it will disable ASIC. It'll actually disable everything and give me a notification. But it will disable ASIC, meaning it will disable the hashing boards in my Antminer A3 if the temperature gets above 70 degrees Celsius. Now, I set it to 70 degrees Celsius for testing purposes because I wanted to make sure this worked, and it worked once, but I'm testing it again. And for some reason, even though my miner has been running all today a whole bunch of times now, well above 70 into the 80 degrees, now it's running below 70 and it's not triggering my 70 degree cutoff for me to test the software. But what I intend to do with this, okay, is I'm going to change this so that it's, I'm going to go edit, and I'm going to change this so that it will shut off at 85 degrees Celsius, okay? But I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to set it so it'll shut off. It will disable the device at 85 degrees Celsius. But what I'll do is also create a new rule, okay? And I'll add a trigger in here for device temperature and instead of 85, when it gets to 80, Antminer chip 80, compare operation, yeah, greater or equals, okay, I'll do something like this, and the action I'm going to take, does it have this action? Antminer, set frequency. The frequency change features is not available to batches of Antminer S9. It won't let me do a mathematical. I have to... Well, I can still do that, okay? So if it gets higher than 80 degrees Celsius, I can downclock the machine. There is another script, though. I can write scripts for this program and configure that myself. Okay, I can't do C# scripts, but I will. I'll get that license. That license is like another $100. But then I'll be able to write C# scripts. I can do SSH commands. Okay, yeah, well, I can SSH anyway. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely going to get the C# script module so that I can anytime the temperature goes above 80 degrees, I can downclock by 25 megahertz, right? And then if the temperature is below 70 degrees, I'll upclock by 25 megahertz. So that's something that I'm going to work on here in the future. But for now, at least I have the overheat protection, which I'll customize later on. But I set it to 70 simply for testing purposes at the moment. And I'm fully expecting my miner to shut down as soon as this goes above 70 degrees. Hopefully. So anyway, beyond that, so I got this. On the dashboard, it's really cool. I got it configured so it shows me actually what my miner is doing. So this is basically what it's doing for me right now. In a day, I make 98 bucks US dollars, and in a month, 3,000 bucks. I spent $3,000 on the machine, so it'd be really awesome if I can pay for it in just 1 month. And again, so you got these temperatures here, temperature here. That is the PCB temperature, so it's the actual hashing board temperature, and it's not the chip temperature on the board. This is a less critical temperature than the other ones. Again, if I go into here, this temperature I configured for my my chip temperature, and I'll show you guys this if I go back over to Antminer. Okay, you can see here where I have PCB temperature, okay, and I also have chip temperatures, right? The chip temperatures are a lot more critical than PCB temperatures. Like as long as this is under 60, 65 degrees, I'm happy, more than happy. Chip temperature, I need chip temperature to be, you know, under 80 degrees. 85 at the max, and 85 is too hot. But under 80 degrees, I'll be happy. So that looks beautiful right now. And I am overclocked, so temperature is working out okay for now. But I am short a couple of ASICs because I do have some damage on hashboard number 3. And even though it's damaged, it's still keeping up quite fine by comparison. So that's all going. And here's my... for the mining pool, I'm mining in a pool on siamining.com, okay? So I'm mining for Siacoin because that's what the Antminer A3 does. It mines the Blake2B algorithm, which is what Siacoin uses. And so anyway, I have earned so far 2,335.99 Siacoins, and they're worth about 4 cents a piece, and I've only been running for like 27 hours. So my miner's been running for 27 hours, and I have, you know, like $100 and some in my pocket. And guys, that's with a lot of downtime. I spent a lot of time switching from one pool to another. I spent a lot of time configuring my miner, and every time you configure a change, it has to reboot. Okay, I spent a lot of time. Well, I had my heating problem. My heating problem caused me about an hour, maybe an hour and a half of downtime. And then, yeah, so probably in the last 26 hours, I probably only have 21 hours of uptime because of all the fucking around I've done. So, yeah, so that's what I've done so far. They're about 4 cents a piece. And I'm just kind of holding out right now. I'll probably wait for the next spike in price and then sell them because they're kind of down in price right now. They're going to go up in price. So I'm not too worried about my income right now. And especially, guys, like, I'm not saying go out and buy one of these things because these numbers aren't going to hold, but the reason I bought an Antminer A3 and specifically batch number 1 was to get higher returns than other miners, okay? Most of the time, you buy a miner, you are lucky if you recover 1% of your investment per day. Okay, and here I am, I've spent $3,000 and I'm recovering over 3%. I'm like 3.33% basically per day on my investment. $100 a day on a $3,000 investment is 3 1/3, right? Makes sense to me. Or is it 3%? No, $100 out of 3,000 is 3 1/3%. Okay, so anyway, that's good. That's going to go down tomorrow or the next day or whenever I do my next live. This value is going to be less because of the increase. Remember, they sold like 15,000 of these things. Everybody's plugging them in. Hash rate's going parabolic, growing exponentially. Competition is growing. Hash rate, the difficulty is increasing exponentially. This number is going to go down a lot. But you know, the reason I bought it was to take advantage of this batch 1 and this time where I can recover these things, okay? I don't recommend you guys buying batch 2 or batch 3 of these things because they're going to die out. If you really want to buy a miner, I would recommend the S9 because it still does produce about 1% of its cost, you know, per day. And I also recommend registering yourself a business. That way you can get tax IDs because I had to pay, I paid $400 in import duties on my Antminer. And because I have a registered business, I get that back. Or you can not have a registered business and you don't get that back, right? So yeah, guys, this program's been good. It's called Awesome Miners, the name of the program. So a lot of problems, guys, with running these miners. So if you do want to save yourself the trouble and still get a pretty good return, I'm still running Hashflare, guys. Still going ahead with this, okay? So I got a couple days. I mean, I'm still recovering $14. It was higher the other day. I made like $18. So I'm still recovering out of here like just shy of 1% per day based on what the investment is that I put in. You know, and the thing with cloud mining is, one, you don't have to worry about your miners frying themselves. You don't have to worry about heat. You don't have to worry about noise. Okay, you don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to worry about it burning your fucking house down. Okay, because it's not in your house. You know, so mining with hardware at home is definitely not for everybody. Okay, I'm doing it because I like technology, you know, like I'm a nerd. I'm a total freaking nerd. I love this stuff, okay? If it lights on fire, I'll be up there with my fire extinguisher putting that thing out, and then I'll probably go buy another one and do it again. You know, because like that's just, it's fun to me, right? But I'm definitely considering things like I'm gonna get some fire alarms and put them up there. I'm gonna build my my baffle box. I'm gonna put a temperature sensor for the room attached to the power, and so if the temperature exceeds a certain amount, it will actually cut power to my room. That's something that's coming into play here. That way there, you know, in case my fans don't kick in, it will actually just cut the power to the fucking room, and then it can't light my house on fire. That's very important to me. Of course, I'm getting a whole new power distribution panel upstairs in my room before I get any more miners. Right now I have one miner, one circuit, one electrical circuit. I got enough power, but if I put another miner up there, I don't have any more power to put it into. So I'm going to have a whole separate power distribution up there and all kinds of different things. But guys, cloud mining is awesome if you don't want to go through all of this nonsense, okay? You put your money in, you get like whatever it's worth per day, and that fluctuates. Bitcoin's down right now, so it's less than 1% a day. Bitcoin goes up, you'll get more than 1% a day, whatever. But I love it. Just because I'm getting miners in my house and I'm starting to build up, you know, my own little mining operation here, does not mean that I'm giving up on HashFlare. You know, I'm still going to build this out because, again, this is zero maintenance. I have to do nothing. I don't pay the power, okay? I don't have to reboot my device all the time. I don't have to worry about heat. I don't have to worry about noise. I don't have to worry about moisture. I don't have to worry about putting temperature sensors in order to turn fans on and turn fans off and build baffle boxes for noise and all kinds of retarded stuff like that. All I do is I put my money in. They set up the miner for me. They do everything for me and just pay me. It's pretty freaking simple to me. So I still highly, highly recommend these guys if you don't want to go through the same troubles as I am. Let me go back to my camera here.
Of course, HashFlare also does have a 10% straight commission. There's no multi-level marketing program. It's not a Ponzi scheme. They've been mining since 2013. Yeah, absolutely no multi-level marketing plan. Just 10% direct sale if you want to, you know, refer people to it. And, you know, that's it. What's going on, Glenn? Thanks for jumping on. And I mean that in the kindest and most loving way. Oh, yeah, awesome. Yeah, I know I am a nerd. I'm a total freaking nerd, man. Total nerd. Guys, do you have any questions regarding mining, coins, altcoins, charts, whatever, anything at all? I better check my YouTube, too. No questions on YouTube. All right, cool. But any questions, guys? And this video is brought to you today again by Goose IPA, my favorite beer in the world. Yeah. The calculated daily profitability is actually down to $76 a day, or actually I'll go $79.78 per day before power costs, and this particular machine costs me about $4 a day in power, which is fine. But again, on my cost, because I'm overclocked, I'm making a good portion more. Is there any questions, guys? Oh, I didn't even hear. I'm going to switch back to my screen for a second.
Something I did do, I actually set up the Scicoin wallet on my computer in order to receive payments to. So the way the mining pool does, it will pay out once per day, as long as you have more than 500 Scicoin built up on the mining pool, and then it will pay out up to every 6 hours, so long as you have at least 1,000 Scicoin in your built up balance on the mining pool. So I set this up, dude, guys. This to set up the Scicoin wallet, you just go to whatever Scicoin's website is. Anyway, I forget, and you download it, set it up, and you don't need to do this if you're not mining or whatever. But you set it up, and this thing took like 8 hours to synchronize to the network. The blockchain is that big. It's bulky. But so I got that done. So I have 1,528 Scicoin in my wallet, and they owe me another 819 that'll be paid out probably right after I get to 1,000 in unpaid balance. And again, they're worth 4 cents a piece, give or take. Well, what does I had a window open for that. Let's just go take a look here. I'll check the price here quick. Oh, 4.3 cents. So I'm up like, well, I'm up 7.5% just from holding my coins after mining. That's pretty good. I like that. So hopefully we can get another spike in price, and then I'll sell. Whatever. Yeah, I like that. That's fun. So 4.3 cents a piece. And I'm getting like 2,500 coins a day. Awesome. Electronium is 11 cents. That's good. Yeah. All right.
Running 24 hours a day? Yes, absolutely 24 hours a day. Except that I've had some downtime in the last 24 hours because I'm doing some learning, some trial and error at the same time, and I had some hardware errors. Oh well. How much have you made so far? I've made 2,350 Saya coins, and they're worth 4 cents a piece. So 40, 80, 100, and 100 and some dollars. Is this the only coin you were mining? Yes. The Blake 2B algorithm, which is what this particular miner does. Okay, so you buy a miner. It's called an ASIC. ASIC. Application Specific Integrated Circuit. So what that means is that the circuitry in the hardware will only process one function. It will only do one thing. Okay, so it only processes the Blake 2B algorithm, right? It's called Blake 2B. There are other Blake algorithms, but specifically Blake 2B. I don't understand the technicals of exactly what that Blake algorithm differs compared to other Blake algorithms. All I know is that it's different. I can't mine Blake coin with Blake 2B because Blake coin uses Blake 256 algorithm, and this is Blake 2B. And the only coin that I know of personally that you can mine using the Blake 2B algorithm is Saya coin. So Saya coin is the only coin I'm mining with this device. Later on, when I get together some GPU rigs, which I intend on building, I will also be mining other coins. But for now, I only have the one miner set up, the Antminer A3. It only mines the Blake 2B algorithm, so I'm only mining Saya coin right now. That's it. Oh, that's my neighbor. My neighbor just messaged me on Facebook. I asked him if he could hear my my miner running, cause like if I go outside, it's loud. And I just wanted to apologize to him in case I was driving him nuts when he's trying to sleep at night or anything. But he kind of just laughed at me and he said he'll consider it tonight when he goes to bed, and he'll let me know if it's too loud. Awesome. That's something else. Like, I'm very fortunate here that I have very good neighbors, because I mean, I'm in the city, small city, but I'm in the city, just in a regular small house on a half-acre lot, and so your houses are right beside me on either direction, and like I run a woodworking facility. I spray hazardous chemicals, finishing products, and that in my garage. I've done a lot of that, and now I'm getting into the computer stuff where I'm setting up a mining operation that's loud as shit. And, so I always consider my neighbors, and I'm very, very fortunate that I have good neighbors that, and before they complain to me, I go and I knock on their door and say, hey, does what I'm doing bother you? If it bothers you, just give me a shout and let me know what's going on, and we'll find a solution. That way I don't have to have the cops at my door. Randomly to tell me that I'm doing something wrong. Anyway, guys, are there any other questions? Or I'll just go ahead and I'll wrap up this stream. Alright, well, I don't see any other questions coming in. So, guys, my experience with mining with the A3 so far is heat, awful. Noise, awful. Problems, yes. Easy, debatable. Is it for everybody? No. If you don't want to go through this trouble and you don't want to have the risk of frying $3,000 with the click of a button, then I highly suggest cloud mining with a company like Hashflare. Click the link in the description of this video. And don't mess around, guys. Don't pay very, very attention to your temperatures if you're going to run a miner at home. Don't heat them up too much. If you have high temperatures, underclock, or get better cooling. That's my advice so far, guys. And I will definitely give updates later on as I gain some more experience with this particular device, and I can tell you more about it. But it's what I got so far. So guys, number one most important thing ever is stay profitable. All right, and I'll see you guys in the next video.